Global warming and climate change have become increasingly concerning topics over the past few decades. They're changing our planet in unfathomable ways that are worsening every coming year. Global warming is the gradual increase in the Earth's atmospheric temperature attributed to the greenhouse effect caused by increasing levels of carbon dioxide and other pollutants in the atmosphere that keep the heat trapped, therefore warming up the planet. Global warming is the culprit for many of the changes that are affecting our planet, including warming oceans, shrinking ice sheets, glacial retreat, decreased snow cover, and rising sea levels. Global warming is the root cause of climate change. Human activities such as the increased burning of fossil fuels over the last century have increased carbon dioxide levels in the atmosphere, therefore changing the natural greenhouse and resulting in climate change. Human activity has caused a sharp spike in carbon dioxide levels mainly because of industrialization for the last 150 years. These levels are only continuing to rise, therefore also worsening climate change. Consequences of increasing temperatures due to high levels of carbon dioxide include a lengthened frost-free and growth season, changing precipitation patterns, more droughts and heat waves, stronger and more intense hurricanes, a 1 to 4 feet sea level rise by 2100, and an ice-free Arctic. Now that we've addressed what climate change is, let's consider how it's affecting us as humans and its impact on human health, but also how the healthcare system will have to adapt to these incoming changes. The top 5 climate implications on human health include an increase in temperature-related death and illnesses, water-related illnesses, worsening air quality ramifications, vector-borne diseases, and increasing respiratory problems. First off, climate change can affect human health in two main ways. First, by changing the severity or frequency of health problems that are already affected by climate or weather factors, and second, by creating unprecedented or unanticipated health problems or health threats in places where they have not previously occurred. With climate change, the frequency, severity, duration, and location of weather and climate phenomena, such as rising temperatures, heavy rains, and droughts, and other kinds of severe weather are changing, meaning that areas with already high-risk severe weather climates, such as severe heat or hurricanes, will only continue to worsen. How does temperature play a role in human health? The increasing concentration of greenhouse gases is causing an increase in both average and extreme temperatures, which is expected to lead to an increase in deaths and illness from heat. Days that are hotter than the average seasonal temperature in the summer or colder than the average seasonal temperature in the winter cause increased levels of illness and death by compromising the body's ability to regulate its temperature. Loss of internal temperature control can result in a cascade of illnesses, including heat cramps, heat exhaustion, heat stroke, and hyperthermia in the presence of extreme heat, and hypothermia and frostbite in the presence of extreme cold. Temperature extremes can also worsen chronic conditions such as cardiovascular diseases, respiratory diseases, cerebrovascular diseases, and diabetes-related conditions. Another devastating byproduct of climate change is its effect on sea levels and water resources. This essentially becomes a problem because of the increased exposure to water-related contaminants that cause illnesses in humans. Water-related illnesses include waterborne diseases caused by pathogens such as bacteria, viruses, and protozoa. Exposure occurs through indigestion, inhalation, or direct contact with contaminated drinking or recreational water, and through consumption of contaminated fish and shellfish. However, water resource, public health, and environmental agencies in the United States provide many public health safeguards to reduce risk of exposure and illness even if the water becomes contaminated. While the United States has many safeguards in place, many other parts of the world lack these basic safeguards and health regulations, leading to much higher risks of these water-related illnesses. Next, there are the air quality impacts of climate change. Climate change affects the air we breathe. Increasing carbon dioxide levels promote the growth of plants that release airborne allergens. Higher pollen concentrations and longer pollen seasons can increase allergic sensitization and asthma episodes. Increases in carbon dioxide can trigger plants to produce more pollen, which might explain why the pollen seasons seem to get worse. The main result from worsening air quality is the increase in respiratory problems and stroke. Fossil fuel pollutants can form a mixture called particulate matter in the atmosphere that can then enter into your lungs, which can aggravate asthma, decrease lung function, and increase your risk of cardiovascular events such as strokes. One of the most frightening effects of climate change is how it will impact vector-borne diseases. Vector-borne are illnesses that are transmitted by vectors, which include mosquitoes, ticks, and fleas. These vectors can carry infective pathogens such as viruses, bacteria, and protozoa, which can be transferred from one host to another. Seasonality, distribution, and prevalence of vector-borne diseases are influenced significantly by climate factors, primarily the high and low temperature extremes and precipitation patterns. Climate change will have both short and long-term effects on vector-borne disease transmission, affecting both disease risk and occurrence all over the world. Therefore, this predicament of worsening climate change will not only be the end of our planet, but without preventive measures can be the end of the human species as we know it.